So before we used cupping for women who had sihr in her ovaries, we needed to do treatment 7 times. She comes, we read the Ruqya, we give her to do treatment for 7 days. At that time she comes back, start again and again. So it is essential when you do the diagnostic not to forget any cupping, because the sihr could be there and you will not remove the sihr. So the jinn will stay stacking on the person, and the problem of the person will be staying, will not be removed. And the person, it will be a failure. You see, it will be a failure. And that failure has, of course, consequences. If you are here telling to people, come, we treat you with Quran, Ruqya, Rasulullah said this, Allah said that, and in the end the person is not healed, is not cured. So we will be discredited, and it will be difficult to get his confidence again and to get him to do a second treatment. So this is why each time any person comes, we do our best to remove everything he has. And every time someone comes back after his treatment and you see that everything has not been removed, there is some progress, but there are some things are lasting, each time you must ask yourself, how should I have done to remove everything in the first go? So this is always our goal, our objective, how to remove everything in one single treatment. So if if the person comes back and something is left of jinn, of sihr, you must think, was it possible to remove it, to give him such a treatment that it would have gone from the first time? We always think this way. So this is concerning the hijama, how to do it. Now you know that any place where it is difficult to put the hijama or impossible, like for example the eye, it's not possible. So we try to put it on the closest place. For example, the head. Usually we put the hijama on the neck and down the neck on the bone that is under the neck. But if the person has too many pains and too many headaches, so then we have to put on the head. It will not be enough to do the cupping down there. So we can do on the forehead. Now the problem on the forehead, on the whole of the head, is that it pains a lot because it's directly on the bone instead of being on the flesh, on the meat. And also it will leave a mark for 7 days or for 2 weeks, depending on how colored is the person. The more the person has a dark skin, the less the mark will be. So if someone is very white, you must know it's going to leave him a very, very visible mark for some time. So you must ask what is his job, if it is possible. And if you're going to put that cupping, you must tell him that's going to leave you a mark. Now if the case is desperate, like someone is crazy totally, or not being able to work at all because of that pain, so there's no choice, you have to put the maximum. Now it is also possible to put on the head. So for men it is easy to shave, maybe not easy, but for women it is very difficult to shave. So we will only shave if the case is really very bad, but we have that option to shave either the whole head to put many cups, or just the place where we want to put the cup. Now you can get the cup stuck on the head, on the hair, with honey, and better with glucose. Alhamdulillah, actually, I just discovered glucose recently, and glucose is like glue. It sticks like glue, and it is cheaper, and it gives less, it does not leak like honey will be leaking everywhere. So any Ruqya center should try to get some glucose and use it. Just put it on the cup and it will stick, inshallah, like glue, bi'idhnillah tabaraka wa ta'ala, and that will help putting hijab on the head without any problem on any kind of hair, bi'idhnillah tabaraka wa ta'ala. I want to say for other places, for example, like knees, well, I'm not going to show my knee, I'm going to show you my elbow. For example, this is the knee. So you have to put it somewhere around the knee, either on the right side, on the left side. If you can't find, you put it on the back. But if you put it on the thigh, if you put it higher on the thigh, that will not have effect on the knee. So when it is on the knee, you have to put it on the knee. So what am I saying? So that for hijama, any places that are difficult to put, we put it in closest place we can. So this is why it is also important to have small pots of hijama, to put it in the small places like the feet and other, like the wrist, where you cannot put big pots. So this is what concerning the diagnostic. I told you that sihr can be made in 4 different ways: eaten, hurt in the body, and that goes with hijama, with cupping. Now, some people who do not accept cupping, because they're afraid, or because they cannot see the blood that makes them panic, or they have illness and they're taking medicine to make their blood go fluid. So we should try to convince them to do the cupping, because it is very important. And actually, in some cases, I will refuse to treat the person if he refuses cupping, because I know that this case can only be removed with cupping. And if we're going to go back to the old days when we used to do 7 treatments for a woman who has hijama on her ovaries, I'm not ready to do that. I'm not ready to take her 7 times, take her money each time, give her treatment to do just because she's refusing the cupping. So I prefer not to treat her at all. So in some cases, if someone does not want to do the cupping, I will not accept to treat him, because I see that the chances of him getting cured without the cupping are too small. So it's not worth it. Either he does it or he doesn't do it. But in most cases, we can do the treatment without the cupping. Well, when we do the treatment without the cupping, actually I must say that some people come back and their pains have disappeared, subhanAllah. Their pains, knee pains, back pains, everything has disappeared just by doing the treatment, alhamdulillah, and by rubbing, etc. So fine. And other people will come back, will feel better, and they feel that those pains are still there, and they ask for cupping. So alhamdulillah, maybe that first treatment without cupping will help him accept cupping in the second time. Now, if we don't do cupping on him, so you must tell him to insist with oil. Those places, he must rub them with oil and recite Fatiha. You can just recite those verses of Ruqya while rubbing. So I hope everybody understands what is happening. So there's some bad energy, that is the sihr, that is being sucked by the cup. So and the cup is very efficient to suck it out. As I also say, it's like if you're fighting with a ghost. If you punch him or stab him or shoot him, that will not affect him. But if you have a hoover that is strong enough to suck him, so he cannot resist that, and you're going to hold him. So it is the same thing for sihr in the body. So the cupping will suck it out. So if the person does not use the cupping, you will rub with the oil and recite. He will rub, someone else, if it is his family, they can rub and recite. So the effect of the Quran and the oil that is already Quranized will work on his body, and that will inshallah break that sihr or neutralize that sihr. It's not as efficient as the cup, but it will help that way. Instead of just washing with water, tell him that those places he should have had the cupping on. He must rub them and recite every day. He can also do it morning and evening. Now, for the people who have diabetes and who take medicine to make the blood fluid, actually we never have had any problem with them. So when we do the cupping, because when we cut, you don't see the blood, and by the time the cup is finished and we clean it, the blood does not continue leaking, even for people who have those illnesses. Okay, so I think that is everything concerning the cupping. Now, the third way of making sihr is the symbolic way. Now, there's a course on symbols that you should have seen before this course of diagnostic, how to use the symbols and how to remove the symbols. So, when now we are using the sheets of paper printed with edible ink that contain all the verses to remove the symbols. Yet we have to make a diagnostic as precise as possible for each person. For each person, you have to make a precise diagnostic. Why? For many reasons. First reason is that the sihr, the more you identify it, the more it gets weaker. It is like the jinns. The jinns don't like to give their names, their age, what they're doing here, etc. Because the more they're hidden, they are strong. And the more that you know about them, the more they get weak. So it is the same. When you identify the sihr, it makes it weaker. For example, if a couple is fighting, and then they know that sihr has been made for them to fight. So just by knowing that will make them get calmer and not be affected by the sihr as if they didn't know anything and it is just happening to them. So this is the first reason. When you identify the sihr, it makes it weaker. So it is part of the treatment to diagnostic that sihr and to write down all the kinds of sihr. Now when you write down the sihr, you have to write down the sihr, not, for example, if the person is dreaming that he's falling. So that means the sihr is on high place, a tree or mountain. So we put tree, you don't put falling, because falling is not a sihr that is falling. The sihr has been made on a tree. You see? So you have to translate the symptom of the person into what kind of sihr it is. So you have that in the book and in the papers of training, in the training sheets. So the symbols, you have to diagnose them. You have to diagnose them, even if you are going to give the person the sheet with the whole 45 verses of different symbolic sihr. Because first of all, when the sihr is diagnostic, it makes it weaker. Second reason, when the person will come back, you have to be able to see what was there and what is left now. From what this kind of sihr he had. Now when you go to ask him, what does he feel, what does he see in his dreams, etc. So you can compare to understand that this is going less, or this symptom is staying, is not going, or this symptom is new, he did not have before, that just appeared now, so that you can understand how the person is going. Is he going to be cured or is not? Or what is happening to the person, to make a follow-up. And the third reason is that you always might find yourself in a situation where you don't have those papers with all the symbols. So now you need to know which are the symbols that are concern the person, so you know what to read in that water. What to read in that water. Well, you read, if you're going to read the Ruqya, and then you add each verse of that concerns the person, you read them 11 times. Or if you're going to write for him the same first verses that are Fatiha al-Kursi, the 3 verses of Musa alayhi salam plus the 3 qul, then you add the verses that concern his case. So this is why you need to be able to identify all the types of sihr. And it is not possible to recite those 45 verses 11 times each, or to write down all those verses for each person. That will be take too much time. So this is why you have to identify 3, 5, 10 verses that the person needs. So this is why this is concerning the symbolic sorcery. Now there's something to know about the symbolic sorcery. If there's one symbol or a few symbols that are very strong on the person, for example, the person is very much depressed, thinking about death, very tired, so you feel that the sihr on the grave is affecting him very much. So today someone told me that here in South Africa there is a way of making sihr that they take nails that are 6 inches, 15 centimeters long, and they put the sihr there, and they put it inside of a body of a baby, of a dead baby that they take out of the grave, and they put the sihr inside through his feet, through his head, etc. So you see that sihr made in the grave, for example, can become much more complicated than just putting something inside the grave, or just taking the water that someone was washed with, a dead person was washed with, and use that for sihr, or take the sand of a grave to use that for sihr. It can be much more complicated than this. I also had a patient where the sihr has been doing knots all night long. So it's not just a few knots, it is all the night he was making knots and knots and knots and knots for one person. So sometimes that symbol could be very, very oppressing the person and very strong. So then you tell the person to take those verses, the verse of that symbol, and read it himself or someone of his family more and more the water. 30 times, 50 times, 100 times, whatever you see is appropriate. So that will make the treatment stronger and the healing faster, and that will also make the people participate and take it as something essential. They will understand that their reading is also important, part of the procedure for them to be healed, and so that they take it seriously and they pray Allah, and they will be fearing Allah that maybe because of their sins or their lacks, Allah will not accept and the treatment will not go. So that will engage them in the process of healing. So that is quite important. So whenever you see that some part, when you feel by experience that the normal treatment is already very strong, and calculated for strong cases. But if you feel that this problem of the person will not be removed, you don't think it's going to be removed by those 12 days, so add more verses to focus more on that problem, to insist on removing that problem. So I told you there's 4 types of sihr. The eaten one, the one that's put on the body, the symbolic sorcery that's done with objects, something to identify the person, and then it's put in any kind of place. So, and then the last sihr is the sihr by contact. This contact mostly is walking on the sihr. When they put the sihr in front of the house or in front of the shop, the business, and the person goes in and out, always walks on it, so it will affect his legs, make his legs heavy, or giving him eczema or psoriasis on his legs, then all over the body, any type of physical problem in the legs. Mostly it is due to walking on the sihr. But the sihr by contact, this contact can be done by any way. I had, for example, a woman, sihr was done on her kuhl, on the surma, the black powder she puts in the eye. So she put it in her eyes and she had very terrible headaches. I had another woman, sihr was put on her lipstick and she had the mouth full of cuts and pus. May Allah Ta'ala protect us. And different ways. I had also a boy, he was playing and he fell down, and on his back he fell on the sihr. So it affected his back. So that means that touching the sihr can come by any way. But most common is walking on it, because they put it in front of someone's house or someone's shop. And you can also walk on it accidentally, it just has been thrown somewhere. For example, in the graveyard, there's many sihr that are buried there, so you can just walk on it without knowing, and that will affect you. So, concerning this type of sihr, there's nothing more to add for the treatment, because it's going to make cupping on the places where there's pain or heaviness or skin diseases, and then you do the same treatment with water and oil and incense. So nothing to add. So now, what you must understand with these symptoms, the sihr has primary symptoms and secondary symptoms. That means secondary effects. Primary effects, secondary effects. Mostly, the primary effects are blockage of life. That means the sihr has been done to this person to stop him work, get money, get married, have children, study his projects. Mostly, this is the purpose of the sihr. And the secondary effects are the other symptoms. You know that there's 4 symptoms of the sihr, jinn and ayn: blockages in life, unusual health problems, unusual mental states, and bad dreams. So the first effect is blockages in life. The others are secondary effects, usually. For example, if you eat sihr, it is done to block your life, and because you have eaten, it's going to give you pain in the stomach. So the purpose was not to give you pain in the stomach. But you can also give someone sihr, may Allah protect us, someone can be given sihr to eat, to kill him, and that will make cancer in his stomach. You see? So that the health problem can become the first problem, can become the purpose of the sihr. Also the mental problem, usually it is secondary effects. That, for example, they do sihr in the graveyard to block your life, and you become depressed because it is done in the graveyard. But it can be the first effect, for example, to separate a couple, or to make someone crazy, or to stop someone studying. So it can become the primary effect. Basically, in sihr you have the primary effects that are blockages in life, and the secondary effects that come in your health, in your feelings, in your mentality, and in your dreams. So dreams, of course, are secondary effects, that's for sure. Sihr is not done to someone to make him dream, but to make something in his life, and because the sihr is there, so he's having dreams. So it is secondary effects. So why do I say this? Because you have to find an equilibrium. You have to find a balance between the primary and the secondary effects. For example, if someone is having lot of bad dreams, and you understand that there's quite a bit of sihr done on him, and he says that his life is, everything's okay in his life. His job is okay, his money is okay, his marriage is okay, and his mental is okay, he's well concentrated, he does not have fears, does not have depression, he has nothing. But he's doing all these dreams that are related to sihr. So there's something wrong. There must be something wrong. So there must be an explanation. There must be an explanation. It could be that he has blockages but he's not telling them, or he's not aware of them. It could be Allah Ta'ala prevented those blockages. It happens to some people. It is very rare that the sihr does not work. But some people, it will not work on them, or it will not work fully. Either because they are very pious, either because they are very straight in life, or they are very logic in their mind. They're so logic, so clear-minded, nothing can affect them because they are so sure of what they do. So that also can make the sihr affect them less. Also because of dua of their parents making a lot of dua for them to protect them, that the sihr did not work on them. So when the sihr did not work on them, usually it goes on to secondary effects. It can just become the health, it can just become tiredness, and sometimes there is no effect at all. But the sihr is there and it has not worked. So this is an explanation, for example, if someone has secondary effect without the primary effects. And the other way of balancing, so when the person has blockages, cannot get married, or his business is not working, now you have to look for the secondary effects in order to identify the sihr, in order to remove it. Okay? And that is a problem, that if someone has blockages, but physically he's okay, and mentally he's okay, and he's having no dreams. So for example, when the people, didn't speak enough about dreams, I'm coming to that. Some people don't dream at all, good or bad. Yet the sihr is there. It's just that there's something special about him that makes him, he doesn't dream. And actually so far, I couldn't identify what is special about how to explain that a person does not do any dreams. Whereas, concerning the sihr he should be doing dreams, but he's not. Some people don't dream at all. I don't know why, but it's a fact. When you ask someone about his sorcery dreams and he says no, and you find it is unusual, because the way his life is blocked and the problems he should be having those dreams. But he says he doesn't remember, he doesn't do any dream. So ask him if he does good dreams. So if he does good dreams and he does not do bad dreams, that means there's not that kind of sihr, because it would appear in the dreams. But if he does not have good dreams nor bad dreams, so you know that there's a blank. So he, for a reason, I don't know why, he does not dream at all. But yet the sihr is there, and the sihr should make those dreams. But because the person does not dream at all, so you don't have those dreams. So in that situation, you have to guess. You have to guess from the symptoms. Is this something done in the grave? Is this something done in trees? Is this something done this such or such way? And well, it's not just a guess, like a stupid guess, like say who's going to win the World Cup. Just say a stupid guess because there's no way someone can guess before. No, it is a calculation. You see that what kind of sihr would provoke this kind of symptom, and that's what you're going to do. You see, so it's I wouldn't say an intelligent way, but a deduction. How to understand what's going on, to understand what kind of sihr has been used. So I was saying, when someone has the blockage and does not have any other symptom at all, when there's blockage, that means there's sihr. So you must be careful, because some people, when you have no more pain, no more dreams, they say, there's no more sihr, but my business is not working, or I can't get married. I say, no, you have nothing else. No, you can't say you have nothing. Just say that I cannot find anything else. I don't see anything else. I don't see anything else. Maybe there's something that I cannot find. So in that case, what you can do, because it is possible that sihr has no secondary effects. Well, the most basic sihr is just words. And those words can be done on nuts, it can be done on food to make you eat, it can be done on something to put in your house, etc. But basically it is words. And when it is simple words, that will have the effect of why the sihr has been done without any secondary effect. And when it is simple words, it will just go by washing. So anyway, if the person does not have a secondary effects, you just give him the washing. Now to be sure, you can give him 4 days of salah. And to be sure, you can make cupping on the sunnah places, on the neck, on the shoulder blades, and down on the lumbars, on the kidneys. And anyway, it will not harm him to do cupping, it's a sunnah. So that's what we do. For someone who does not have the side effects, the secondary effects. So let me speak about dreams now. Yes, we ask people dreams. We ask them, do you see nightmares? Then we ask, what nightmares do you see? Let the person speak. And now try to relate all those nightmares to the list of symbols we have. So then you ask, after he gives his nightmares, you ask, do you see people chasing you in your dreams? So if he does see something chasing him, that is lock. If it is people chasing him, that is letter. Even if he sees lots of people without chasing him, it is letter, it is writing. If he sees, then you ask, do you see snakes or animals? Why snakes or animals? Because most often it is snakes. Sometimes it is other animals. And you don't know, you don't need, when you ask for the dreams of sorcery, to ask, do you see dog, do you see cat, do you see horse, do you see spider, do you see ant, do you see fish? No, you don't need to go into these details. Because the way sihr comes in the dream, it is something very real. And it is affecting the person. So even if that dream has gone since 5 years, when the moment you say, did you see snake? It will come back immediately. You see? So you don't have to go to each and every kind of animal. Did you see snake or other animals? So if the person has seen snakes, you will put the snake, the knots for the snake, and also you put the lock. Why? Because snake is always aggressive. Even it does not aggress you, but by nature is aggressive. By nature. And most when people see snakes, they are threatening them or they are attacking them. So you also put the lock. Now let me tell you about animals. So from cat to lion, it's all dog. It's all dog. Cat, dog, wolf, lion, tiger. Everything it is dog. Why? Those are the jinns that the sorcerers send on people like dogs. Like if you have aggressive dogs and you send them to attack someone. That is from cat to lion. Now horse and donkey and camel, they also go for footsteps like cars and vehicles, airplane, boat, train. Also all goes in vehicles. If it is the donkey, it's also donkey, because donkey is used to make someone stupid. If it is the camel, it is also sacrifice, because they are animals of sacrifice. Now all the animals we eat, it is sheep, it is chicken, it is goat, it is cow, that's all sacrifices that are done against the person, all the way to camel. Now for other animals, for example spider is something very important, because spider, it is jinns that are like octopus, and they come in the brain and they hold the brain of someone that does not let him think, that does not let him concentrate. And there is, subhanallah, we say in French, he's got a spider in the roof. That means he's crazy. That means there's a spider up there in his mind. And subhanallah, it is very often that it is jinn spiders that are in his mind doing that. And those jinns actually, they're not naturally spider. They're not naturally. They're just made like that by sorcerers. They turn to that, and you see, it is energy, fluid energy. So it's like those balloons where you can make any animals with. It's a bit like that, the body of jinns. So they can make many things out of their body. What's other animal? Well, there's the fish. I said the fish. So the fish is also important. That is when they put sihr on a hook and they put it in water and they wait for fish to take it and to go with it. So you must also ask for the fish. But you don't systematically ask for the spider, but the person will remember. If he's seeing a spider, he would tell you spider. So after we said snakes or animals, then you ask for water. And if the person sees water by any shape, so just put water. Then you ask, do you see yourself climbing or flying or falling or sleeping? And that means it is in a tree, or in a high place, tree or mountain. And then do you see dead people? Just see dead people. If the person sees dead people or sees himself there, sees graves, he would say, oh, I don't see dead people, I see graveyard, I see funerals. Okay, it's all related to grave. Then, for women, you ask, do you see clothes? Do you see children or babies? And children or babies is sihr made with inner clothes, as the relation of breastfeeding between the inner clothes and the babies. So you put clothes. No need to put inner clothes or this. People will be imagining who has taken my clothes and everything. Just put clothes. And also blood. This is for women. So whatever kind of blood she sees, would it be menses blood or not menses blood or whatever blood, so you put menses blood. And then you ask, does she see sexual dreams? Now, sexual dreams does not mean that the person is having sexual relations. It could be that. It could be just someone trying. It could be seeing other people having sexual relations or doing something sexual, or it could be just seeing people naked. So any kind of dream that has relation to sex does not mean the person is doing it himself. So we put pads. Before we used to put pads and pubis hair, but pubis hair, people will think, what's this pubis hair? How did someone take my pubis hair, etc. So just put pads. And when those dreams are very strong, you have to put the cupping on the pubis, because often when those dreams are very strong and jinns are coming too much to have sex with the person, so that means that there's something there attracting the jinns. So you have sihr, essentially, that is put on the sexual part of the person to attract the jinns. So you have to put the cupping there. Also, when the person having too much sexual dreams or feelings, so you have to put the incense on a wrapper. I mean, instead of having a cloth or something that's covering all the body, you put something that covers just the half of the body. Just the half. You attach it there, and you put the incense under it and leave it for 10 good minutes. So that will cook him well, inshallah. The first sister who has done this because she was having sexual dreams, so she had the idea on her own, and she read the Ruqya on the incense and used it, and after 2 days she saw the jinn and the dream, and his manhood had gone. So that is a good part of the problem that had disappeared. So what was I saying? MashaAllah, Ya Allah. Allah Ta'ala give us more ilm and knowledge and wiseness and hikmat. So I was talking about what? Subhanallah. I was talking about the dreams you ask the people. So, children and babies and blood, that's for women. Sexual dream, that's for both. Then we get to, do you see fish in the dream? And do you see toilet? So when they see toilet, it is sihr used either using wastes or put in the toilet. And people have so many different dreams about toilet. Some see the toilet and think they are urinating and they urinate in the bed. And some see that toilets are very, very dirty and they can't do their needs there. They're looking everywhere how to find another toilet. And some reach the toilet, but the toilet is open, everybody's looking, and etc. Different ways of seeing the toilet. And you can understand that how efficient it is to put the sihr in the toilet. I had one patient, he told me that wherever he goes, it's like if shit is on his head. Hashik. So that's exactly how it works, you see. And there's subhanallah, there's an expression in French and English where they say you're in deep. And that's exactly it, because they have put it deep inside there. So that's how your life is. May Allah Ta'ala protect us. So that will make you dream about all those things by different ways. Okay, so that's about it. Now the other dreams that are related to sihr, they are rare. So I don't prefer to ask all these small things that are very rare, but then it depends on the country you are, because sihr is different, like recipes, like food. So some countries you never get toilet. Some countries get toilet all the time. For example, in South Africa, the biggest sihr that is there is snakes, so knots. That is the most common. The most, I don't know why, but that's how it is. What the most people see is snakes, and it depends on each country. So now let's come back to the diagnostic. So when the person comes, now I gave you all the details of food, how to give sana, of cupping, of the dreams, of what else I gave you. Now globally, when someone comes, the first question you ask him, what's your problem? Why are you coming? That's the first question to ask. So you listen to his question. Now, if his answer is not for him, it's not for himself. He said, I come because my husband is this and that, my wife is this and that, my child is this and that. So it's not for him. Basically, he's coming for someone else. So you know that you're not going to ask for his dreams and his pains and no, nothing. So if he's coming for someone else, try to make sure, okay, your child has this problem. What about yourself? What problem do you have? Because some people talk about the others, and then when you think you're finished, they say, no, me too, I have this and that problem. So you have to start all over again. So if the person is coming for himself and others, try to start with him. Okay, let's start with you. Tell me what you have pain, what you see in your dream, what's wrong in your life, and then we'll discuss about your children or your husband and wife, etc. So anyway, if the person is not coming for himself, you must know that we have limited ways of action. There's not much we can do for someone who's not here. What we can do basically is give him a treatment to give to that person to make him do at home. So now that treatment is going to give him water to wash, oil, incense, senna, and also oil to spray the house. Now, we don't need to know what are his dreams, where does he have pain, nothing, except for the stomach pains. So if he says that his son or his whatever is at home, and we're going to give him to just ask, does he have stomach pains? And try to give him the quantity of senna. For the rest, it is the same treatment, so we do not need to go into the details. What we can do also for someone who's absent is to do the catching. So also we'll do the catching for that person. But the catching remote by distance is not as efficient as having the person, but it will help anyway. What else we can do? Now if the person does not want to take a treatment, does not want anything, so we will tell that person to read the Ruqya on the house products, on the water to drink, on the oil to cook, on the products to put in the food, on the shampoo and washing stuff to wash the body, on the products to wash the house, to wash the ground, to wash the windows, on the product also to wash the clothes, to do the laundry, and the perfumes of the person, on the incense of the house. So all that he will open and read the Ruqya on it. So if the person is doing his treatment, he has to read those verses on his water, so he can at the same time do it for the house. And you can always do it, it will just help you anyway. So if someone is a raqi, he might as well make the Ruqya on all the products of the house, so that will help him all year long. So that everybody will be using those products, and that person who is concerned will be using those products, so that will help him slightly. That will help him little by little, inshallah, by long term. That could change the situation, and may Allah Ta'ala cure him and cure all our ill people, all our patients. Now what he also can do for that person, he can make the dua before sleeping. If he finds the jinns or the people who made sihr on that person, we should kill them. If he sees that person in a dream, he must catch him and read Fatiha. Read Fatiha, that can cure him, inshallah. So I told him, if the person comes and says that he's coming for someone else, this is what we can do about it. Now if he is coming, if he says a problem that is not clearly due to sihr, he says that, for example, he finished his studies, he didn't get a job. Well, you ask, how long ago? It's just 1 year. Well, what about the all others that finished studies same time as you? Did they get jobs? Well, half of them got a job. It is the situation of the country. So we must tell people that sometimes people have blockages and they say, I want you to do something for me so I get married. I have a good husband or a good wife, or I want a good job. So we must have that. We cannot do anything of that. What we do, we inshallah remove the blockages, the sorcery that is blocking you, and then your life will become normal. And we can't say more. May Allah Ta'ala help us. So if the problem that the person is saying that he came for is not a problem related to jinn and sihr and ayn, so we must say that no, that this is not. For example, one man told me that he was, every time he sleeps, he has his teeth. He bites his teeth a lot. So this is not a clear symptom of jinn. Maybe it could be jinn sihr, maybe it's something else. So I asked him, when did that start? He said it started when he had a car accident and the 4 people with him all died. So it is a psychological shock. He was shocked by that situation, and so that is nervous. So that's not something related to jinn and sihr, needs psychotherapy. Well, that's an example. Well, anyway, if the person says that he's coming for a problem, and we see that that problem is not due to jinn and sihr, so we say that we cannot treat that. It's not it's not part of our work. But if he wants, we can read Quran, make up and give treatment. Anyway, it will not harm him, and maybe Allah Ta'ala by His barakat will help him. For example, when you have handicapped children, children that are disabled mentally or physically, and since their birth, they're born like that or very early, so we must tell the parents that we do not have hope for them to become normal. But if it is due to sorcery done to the mother, so we can remove that sorcery, there will be, inshallah, some improvement. But we cannot say from the beginning how much improvement we will get. Now, mashallah, children disabled improvement, may Allah Ta'ala help us inshallah. So when the person says his problem, he says, so we know that this problem is due to sihr. Now we start asking him. So we ask him for the physical pains, then we ask him for the dreams, then we ask him for his job. Is he working? Is it going well? Does his money get lost or wasted? Then after the dreams we ask him, does he get angry too much, excessively, for no reason? And then at the end we ask him for his marriage. If he is in age to be married, are you married? Is it going okay with your wife or husband? If he says, well, we don't systematically ask for sexual life because it is bothering. Because if it is okay, it is okay. If it is not okay, so we ask what's wrong. What's wrong? And if there's a problem concerning sexual relations, so we must ask what is the problem. So we know, does he need treatment? Does he need cupping? Does she need? What to do about it exactly? Okay. So now also, I told you that in the treatment, when someone comes back, after having done the treatment, he comes back. So if we see, well, if everything's finished, fine, everything's finished. So if everything's finished, if you are surprised that all those problems have gone in one treatment, you can give him a second treatment just to be sure. Give him a second treatment, just water and oil, just to be sure that maybe something little is left, that there's nothing left. If the person is halfway or more than halfway, so you know that, alhamdulillah, so we've gone halfway or 2/3 or 3/4, so we just continue a second treatment, complete second treatment, and don't be neglectant on anything in the second treatment. Just make it complete and read strongly, etc., to finish off what is left. Now, if you are less than halfway, third way, quarter of the way, so only 1/4 of this problem has left, now you must think very, very seriously, because repeating the same treatment will not be enough. So you must think very seriously, what can we do more for this person? What thing did we miss? What can we add as cupping, as giving more verses, as using more salah, whatever his problem, whatever we can do more. Ask him to do Salat al-Haja every night, to ask Allah Ta'ala to show him what clue we can get. Maybe also he needs psychotherapy, and because he has a psychological problem that is preventing the jinn and sihr from going away. Anyway, if you see that the person is not progressing well, would it be 1/4 or less, or even nothing has changed, think very seriously what is the problem, and don't just repeat the same thing, think that it will take as much time. No, we're not the kind of person. I mean, I met once a Raqi, and he said it's normal. Yeah, people take from 6 months to 5 years to be treated. No, we're not that kind of people. We're not going to make someone come back for months and months and for years and years, and we think that is normal. No, that's not normal at all. That's not normal at all. Alhamdulillah, by the grace of Allah Ta'ala, we have a rate of success of 85% after 3 treatments. So we must know, to get to that rate, to alhamdulillah, that people are totally treated and totally finished at 85%. So you must be fighting at every time. Never take this as a routine or as something normal, just without no. Whenever you see that it's not going properly, you must think, and do your best to find a solution. Try again. Now everything is in the hands of Allah Ta'ala. You must also check. Maybe the person did not do his treatment correctly. Maybe he's having some kind of shirk at home, some kind of thing he's keeping. Remember once we treated a man, he was lying in bed for 2 years, and they got us treating morning and evening, and after 2-3 days they said that there's a box under his bed which is full of ta'weez and full of stuff that his mother gave him, and she told him never to leave that. Subhanallah. So all the sihr is under his bed and we're trying to treat him. So also when people don't get cured, you have to check. Anyway, just think how to check, and may Allah Ta'ala help us. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.